TitleMatchNetwork.com.
Talking about modern scandals, your friend Hulk Hogan found himself in one. Get your thoughts on the Hulk Hogan racism elimination by WWE. I'm not going to ask you if you think Hulk Hogan's a racist, because I don't think you do.
Oh, hell, I was a cameraman.
Yeah. So
You think I was going to miss out on that deal?
I thought you were going to tag in.
Yeah, right. No, I thought that was the biggest piece of garbage I've ever heard of in my life.
Right.
And Bubba the Love Sponge is a douchebag, scumbag, anything. He's that kind of a guy.
So just taking advantage of Hulk Hogan at rock bottom.
Taking advantage of Hulk Hogan at rock bottom. He was the #1 jock in the Tampa Bay area in radio, WFLZ, and he owned the market. Hulk had tremendous admiration, and he'd put Hogan on his show for nothing, and then turn around and do something like that.
Do you feel the way the WWE treated him was fair?
That Hogan was going through the reality show with his real family, and that thing imploded. I think there's a good analogy there between Hogan's family imploding and the imploding of WCW.
Right.
In the year 2000.
So the ultimate. Now there are rumors that Hogan may be back one day, but his expulsion from WWE. Do you think that was fair?
You know, you can't give a yes or no.
I know. I'm putting you on the spot.
Fair? No, it isn't fair. Not right.
Right.
But it happened.
Sure. Let's talk about Legends House.
You're bringing up all my favorite subjects tonight.
Sure, we have some posters that we're going to have you autograph after this interview.
Right.
So Legends House, you're approached. I mean, that looked like it was just pure fun.
Pure what?
Fun.
Oh, that was such a pain in the ass.
Oh, well, what do I know?
Yeah, right. No cell phone, no computer, no newspaper, no television. And I got to sit around, and my roommate was Tony Atlas. I love black people, but not when they're farting and doing everything else under the sun all night long.
What now? Were you just put with him, or did you draw straws? How did you get?
Apparently, they did. I mean, Pat Patterson ended up with Howard Finkel.
That's some.
Jimmy Hart ended up with Hillbilly Jim. You think those two guys couldn't drive each other nuts?
Couldn't they get a room with more than? Couldn't they get a room that you could all have your own room? Couldn't they get a bigger house?
No.
What's going on here, Mean Gene?
That was it. We should have had, but what they do actually in these reality shows, and Doug LeBeau, who's a big reality guy, told me that you try to get people, tuned up where there's obvious confrontation. That happened between Tony Atlas and Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Sure.
And man, they came to blows many times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pat Patterson had a big admission. He came out of the closet.
Everybody knew. I mean, everybody in the business knew.
Sure. I think everybody, every casual wrestling fan knew that anyway.
And his book, by the way, was sensational.
Right.
I love the book.
Now, did you think because everybody knew that the show was exploiting that in a way?
God, if they did, that's going out and bowling with a bunch of old broads. Some of the things that they had us do for the thing of the week.
Right.
We made commercials. We went to Zumba classes, and you got a bunch of old farts sitting here doing these crazy things. I didn't think the show was going to be worth diddly squat. Turns out it was the #1 show on the network, and it didn't go on the air 2.5 years after it had been done.
Remarkable. So you are the first announcer ever inducted into the Hall of Fame. Now, when that is presented to you, does it mean something to you? Is the Hall of Fame a gimmick, or does it actually mean something to the
No,
people?
it does. I think it's the acknowledgement from your peers, but also the office, also the fans. You know, God, I can get caught in a bar with a fan who can tie me up for 2 hours, just asking questions like you are,
Wait.
and I'm not. You got this cheap drink here for me.
Well, it was $1.99. I'm sorry, Mean Gene. We're on a tight budget.
What is that? That's the price of the first minute on my hotline.
I know. I'm finally getting it back.
You and I are gonna go have a cocktail after this.
I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, look at this banner. I mean, they couldn't do something better than that. This is all I get.
Could have put a blue curtain behind you.
The blue curtain would have been, well, my jacket would
Yeah, blue and blue.
I would have disappeared.
Hit.
So the Hall of Fame means something? It means something to the boys?
Yeah, and I think what really meant something is that I was the first on-air guy, you know, to go into the hall.
Right.
The first announcer, per se. And I thought that was a big thrill.
Sure. And Hulk Hogan inducted you. How did that come about?
Absolutely killed me.
Yeah.
My wife was in the front row, and he's talking about he and I going down the road, chasing all the tomatoes and everything. Geez, I'm going, oh, no. Don't kill me like this.
So you had no knowledge of what he was going to say? That's not gone over?
Oh, hell, he was going to say whatever he was going to say
Sure.
anyway.
Sure. Was he your first choice?
He referred to, you know, he and I running in Minneapolis and even New York in the old days.
Right.
No damage because I've been married 53 years to the same gal.
Whew. She had to put up with a lot over the years, huh?
She's got money. She's got money.
She probably wanted you to go to work, huh?
Yeah, right.
So let's remember a few you talked about Jimmy Snuka. You have any thoughts about the Superfly who recently passed?
Jimmy Snuka was, you know, I knew him when he came into the territory. He's worked at the AWA before coming first down to Crockett's territory and then up to WWE. Jimmy just had such charisma in the ring, and he was a natural. He was gifted. He'd give his body for the business, which obviously he did.
Yeah.
And he didn't make all right decisions, but I mean, now the guy's gone, and I loved him.
Right. How about Roddy Piper?
Roddy Piper he and I were so close. First night that I came to work, WWE, we were in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Roddy and myself had to go back to the airport in Philly. So we rode back together, and it was a great relationship from that point on. I was really devastated when we lost him. I think a lot because of my relationship, but my God, he was 60 years old or 61.
Yeah. It was out of left field and probably the most shocking death and most heartfelt that I've ever felt as a fan, for sure, because it just wasn't expected.
Well, Roddy lived his own life.
Yeah.
And he made choices. I talked to his wife, Kitty, who's a great gal, was a great mother. You know, Roddy was a family man.
Yeah.
And that's something that people really didn't see. But he was one hell of a family man, and he loved his family. He did things with his kids, and he's going to live for a long time, though, right here, because he made such an impression on us with things that he did in Piper's Pit.
As you did too, Mean Gene. I mean, you will live on long after your years in the things that you've done.
I'm not going anywhere.
No, not that you are. But I mean, every important moment, as I kicked this whole thing off, every important moment in the history of a fan who remembers from the '80s on, you were right in the middle of it. And I mean, that can't be understated. The impact that you've had on wrestling fans and all around the globe. Does that ever sink into you? The impact that you've had on the business and how you're perceived.
I spent 2 weeks in France and Italy, and walk up to a desk clerk. Now I'm trying to figure out if I can speak French. Parlez-vous, Monsieur Petit, whatever. He says, I know you. You're Mean Gene from wrestling. There goes my gimmick.
I mean, that's just a testament to the impact that you've had, and
It also gives you an idea of the international exposure
sure
you're getting.